Hello everyone and welcome back to my Unreal Engine tutorial series. This episode will focus on beginning of combat. So as you can see here, we've got a 3-hit combo. This system allows you to add as many or as little melee attacks as you like, and it's fairly easy to set up. I'm also going to show you how to add sounds to your attacks, as you can hear here. There we go, that's our 3 attacks and how easy it is to implement. So let me show you that. Okay, so to get started, we're going to need to get a couple things. We're going to need to get our animations as well as a sword mesh. So in the description below will be 2 links. One will be for the Quixel sword mesh, as well as the link for some animations. These are by other people, so give them as much love as you can because they gave us this stuff for free. So let me show you what they are. So we're gonna get this sword from Quixel, and then we're gonna get these sword animations from Motion Desire, right? So let me show you how we can add the sword without needing to download it here. So we're going to go to our content browser, hit Fab, wait for it to open up. Yep, so then we're just going to search up here for sword. I'm going to change our filter to price for free. And there's our sword there, so we're just going to click on that, and medium quality is fine, add to project. Okay, so we've got a Fab folder here, and under all of this will eventually take us to our sword. We just want to get the static mesh, so let's just save everything. And let's just move the mesh into a weapons folder in our mesh folder, right? Move the materials to the material folder and textures to the textures folder. Let's create a weapons texture folder, just so that we can try and keep our project folder as clean as possible. So right click, update all directors. Same with this section. Just do it for everything just so we don't have any sort of problems. And then we can delete all of it. There we go. Okay, so next we're going to need to bring in our animations. So open up your Epic launcher. Go to Unreal Engine. Go to library. Down at the bottom here, we're just going to search a sword, and there's your sword animation. So you just add it to your project. If your project isn't here, just click show all projects and then you should see it eventually. So just add it there, and now we've got these animations. So it will probably come up somewhere else. I just moved it into its own sword attacks folder. So here is all the animations, right? So first what we're going to do is we're going to, okay, for this demonstration we're just going to use the first 4 attacks. So right click on all of them, and we're going to go to asset actions, edit selection and property matrix, and we're just going to change the root motion again. So enable root motion and save. Okay, then we're going to go back here and we're going to right click on all of them and create animation montages. Montages are basically the way we can call animations without referencing the animations directly. This also allows us to put additional things on the animations, such as sound effects as well as visual effects like a sword trail. So now that that's all done, click save and open up your BP player. So here's my BP player. Find that input action attack we created, and let's just move it into some open space, right? So we can now delete this print string as we don't need it. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a couple variables. So let's create those now. The first one is attacking, or be attacking, question mark. And let's just put this into its own folder called combat. There we go. Then we're going to need attack animations, and this is going to be anim montage like this, and object reference. And we need to change the object reference over here to an array, as this is going to hold multiple values for us. And then we put it into the combat group as well. And we're going to need one more, which is our current animation count. Current attack count. Let's label attack count so we know. And that will just be a standard integer, not an array. And we're also going to put this in the combat, right? So now that we've got all this, we need to add our attack animations. So over here, click on your variable, and on the right side here, we're just going to go attack animations and add the amount we want. So we had 4, and we're just going to add those 4. So on the first one, we're going to get our attack light 1, attack light 2, attack light 3, attack light 4, like so, right? So that is, so we have a 4-hit combo system. Obviously you can add as much as you want or as little as you want, right? So first things first, we're going to need a branch. Let's get a branch, and we're going to check if we are attacking. Or let's actually change this to not bool to make sure we're not attacking. So that way we can go off the true branch rather than the false branch. Yeah. So from here, we're going to then set this to attacking to true to say we are attacking now. And from here, we're going to go play montage, right? This one over here, not the play and a montage, play montage. So we need a skeleton. So just drag out from your mesh and connect it up. And this montage to play is this attack animations. So what's gonna change, obviously we can't connect it directly, so put it here. We're gonna get our attack animations, and then from here we're just gonna get a get copy, and then we can connect that up. So this is just gonna get every animation in our array by the index, which is this number down here. So index 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So then we need to get our current attack count and set it there, right? So if this is always set to 0 like it is here, basically it's only ever going to play the first attack animation, right? So next, when we've finished attacking, we want to set attacking to false. Make sure this is on the completed because we are finished attacking. And we're going to set our current attack count back to 0. So essentially if we get to the end of our combo, say the 4th hit or the 3rd hit, and we don't press anything in the buffer time, we're going to set the count to 0. Okay. So next, let us increase this attack count, right? So drag out from here, get an add, and we're going to add 1. So every time we press the attack button, we're going to add 1. And then we need to set this animation. Oops. Sorry, this will come back here, but that will go into there, right? So let me show you all the logic first, and then we can get it. So we're going to get the length of this just so that we know how many animations are in our array, right? So we're going to -1. Oh, sorry. We're just going to subtract, and we're going to -1 from this because every time the way it works, like I showed you here, is our index starts at 0, not 1. So we need to -1 to get the correct value. So then we check if our current attack count is less than our length, and get a branch. And add this to the updated, which is this top one here, and connect it up. Yeah. So we're going to now connect that up there. We're going to copy and paste this and set this to here, right? So let me just rewrite this so it's all nice and neat. Okay, so we're going to get our current attack count, and we're going to +1. And that is if we've pressed the index, pressed the attack button before our buffer time. So we'll go on to the next attack count, right? So that would be, if we're at 0, we'll +1 to be there, +2 to be there, +3 to be there. And since there isn't a length any longer, so there's no like index 4, which is this one here. So this is what this check is. It will then set it to 0, right? So this is going to be our select animation based on index. Okay. This is gonna be our play montage. And this is just gonna be our reset attack combo. Okay. So that's basically our attack system. But we need to now go into our animation blueprint and create a system that tells the animations when we can buffer next attacks. But first, let's go to our content browser, go to your animations folder, and just create a new folder called anim notify. So we're going to come here. Oh, yes, it's under Bluepring class, and we're just going to search here anim notify. So it'll be this top one. And we're going to put it AN for anim notify, or we can put it anim notify. Next attack. Okay, so that's fine. We can just save that out. Okay, so what we need to do next is we need to go to our animations. So open up all the animation montages. So here, and we just need to find in the animation where we want the character to be able to buff the next attack. So I'm gonna say here, right? So we're just gonna add a new notify track and we'll put this attacks, and we're gonna go animation notify, and we're gonna look for anim notify next attack, right? So we can get this, copy, save that, and we're just gonna do it to the rest of the animations. Oh, okay, it's not loading them all up. Okay, so we'll just go here to the animation notify, and we'll say we're happy for the next attack to be buffered there. Let's just add a notify track attack and paste that, and then go to the next one, which is montage 3, and we'll say the next attack can be buffered from here. So just while we're busy with this, the reason I put it all on a new notify track is once we have like a lot of things going in on our notifiers. So let's say that's sound effects as well as visual effects. We don't want it all cluttered in one track because it makes it very hard then to adjust something if we need to. So we'll say like that. Okay. So just file and save all now. So that's all that sorted. Okay, so editing chain here. So I needed to make some adjustments to the tutorial as some things weren't working as I wanted. So I'm just going to go over those changes here. So I'll slip these in the right spots so that you can follow along and not be lost. Just know that I've changed a few things, but it shouldn't impact how you get your stuff. So under that anim notify next attack, what we're going to do is we're going to come into the event graph, and we're going to come to the functions here and click. It'll say receive notify here at the bottom. Click that and you'll get to this function here, right? So from the mesh comp, we're just going to get the owner and cast to our BP player because we want to get this variable of is attacking. So let me open up my blueprint of my player. So that's this variable over here, right? So that is going to set it to false so that we can attack. So remember, we have all of this going, and how the stop combo also sets, but also in the animation blueprint. So let me show you that as well. So we're all on the same page and not getting confused. So back in your animation blueprint, we're gonna have, let's get rid of this, don't need it. That's all fine. So it's done here. Okay, so we're gonna have this anim notify next attack, right? So just right click anywhere in your event graph and just go anim notify, and you'll see he has next attack, right? So that will get you this, and you'll just get your owning actor and you'll cast to the BP player. So owning actor looks for whoever owns this animation blueprint. So every time we get the notify of next attack, we're going to set the attacking variable to false. So that's what allows us this here. So it sets it to false. That's essentially what it does. Okay, so that would then allow us to continue our next attack. So that's how that works, right? So what you're going to do next is you're just going to duplicate your notify and make it called combo end. And you'll do the same thing, functions, override, receive notify, and then you'll go get owner, cast to BP, and I'll show you this stop combo now, right? So back in your BP player, we added this custom event. So right click, custom event, and I just labeled it stop combo and set the attacking variable, this one over here, to, set it to false, and set the current attack counter to 0 so that we go back to our original index, which is this one here. Okay, so that's essentially what this does. It calls that event and returns it on here, right? So let me show you what else I changed. So I just changed, added another variable called can attack and set the default to true, and did a query at the start of branch so that later on in other parts, so like if we're jumping we can't attack, so we can use this can attack variable to control all of that. So let's say if we wanted to jump and not attack, we'd go to the jump and we'd set the can attack to false here, right? So that's essentially what that's doing. I also made a custom event called attack combo and set that rather than from the triggered, from the started of the input action attack, so that we can just call this event like this and have this separate or in its own little node, and just have the attack combo set by itself. It just makes you can see we're getting quite a busy event graph, so it just makes it a bit neater. So that's essentially why I did this, and everything else is essentially the same, right? So if we go to our attack montages now, see here. So essentially the only difference is we're going to go to that same next attack, but we're going to go later on in the animation and just put this combo end. So right click, add notify, anim notify combo end. So if we don't press the attack button in this window, then the combo will end. So as soon as it goes past this point, the combo will end. And so that is pretty much the only thing we've changed, and we did this on all of the montages, so there to there. And then as well, we can change the blend out times if your animations are looking a bit jerky. So this just is how long it takes to blend between the two animations. You can also change these to be different, so sinusoidal and cubic, doesn't matter, just find one that looks good for you. And I think those are the only changes I made for the so yeah, your system should look like this. So take a pause if you need to, but as long as it looks like this and you've followed along and set up all of this correctly along with the anim notifiers, your animations should work perfectly. Okay, cool. So now we need to add the sword to our character. So let's do that now. So close this out, go to your blueprints, and we're just going to create a new folder called weapons. Not going to be anything too fancy, but I'll show you why we need it as a blueprint and not a static mesh, right? So animation class, actor, BP sword, right? And we're just going to add, I think it's a static mesh. Yep. Okay. So there we go. And we're just going to add the sword we got earlier. I think it's labeled something different. So just go to your content browser, go to your weapons mesh. Yeah, called something completely different. Okay. So essentially that is going to be that. So then what we need is go to our BP player and go to our mesh here. And we're just going to drag the blueprint we created, not the static mesh, into our character like so. Make sure it is a child of that. And then we need to set the parent socket. So let's go to our mesh, find the skeletal mesh asset, click on the little folder, and open it up. So just find the hand in here. So we're going to use the right hand. So scroll down here, hand grip R, right? So let's use that. So just copy and paste the name, or copy the name. So now we go back to our BP player, click on the sword, and we're just going to change the parent socket to that grip. So just check grip R. Great. So you can see that it is there, but we need to adjust it so it's actually in the hand. So just click and drag the sword to where you want and rotate it how you want. So I'm just going to change the snapping a bit. To the side to 5, just so we can move this to the hilt. There we go. So that is essentially how a sword will be in our character's hand. So click compile and save. Let's check if it works. So now that I'm in here, if I left click, you can see. And if we keep button mashing, our character is eventually going to attack. Okay, so as you saw in the test, we get this weird thing where our character starts freaking out if we try to walk, and our camera freaks out when we attack. So let me show you what that is. It is the mesh we brought in has, you can see here, this green little box around it. This is the collision. So basically our character's interacting with this, causing problems. So to fix this, you just come over, open up your static mesh for your sword, go to collisions, and just remove the collision, right? Save it, and now check. So here's our character. We can walk normally again, and we can attack. That is how our animations work. So you can see one attack, one attack, one attack, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, so that is how that works. So let's add some additional things to make it look a bit nicer. So first we're going to add sound effects. So this will work for any sound effect. So we'll just use something in Unreal to show you how it works, right? Okay, so open up your attack montage. We create a new notify track called sound, or SFX for sound effects, right? And we're just going to find where we want the sound effect to take place. So maybe here. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click here, go add notify, and we're going to go play sound, right? So now that we've got the sound here, we can go to the details panel up here and we can add a sound, but we're going to make it a bit more dynamic is the word, sorry. Yeah, we're going to make it a bit more dynamic so that the same sound isn't played constantly. We're going to add a bit of variation. So let me show you how to do that quickly. So we're just going to go here. We're going to find any audio. We probably have to get from the engine, content. Yeah. So because I wasn't happy with the sounds here, I'm just going to import some sounds. I'm just going to create an audio folder. And we're going to put in here weapon. And I'm just going to have one called sword. Well, in the weapons, we'll just import it. So I can link you to some swords, sword sounds. So let me do that for you. Okay. So once you've downloaded your audio, just drag it into that new folder we created and you'll get it here. I just relabeled mine to sword swing. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to right click in some empty space, go to audio and create a meta sound. MS sword swing. Open that up. And from here, we're just going to go play and play mono. So on play, it's fine. On finished, we can put that there, out mono. So now we're just going to find that sword swing, which is there, add that in. And from the input, we're just going to go random float. Yeah, so from here, we're going to go on the next to the play. And we're just going to change this min and max value to be, let's say, -2 and +2, right? And we're going to put this value to the pitch shift. So anytime we play this sound, it will randomize a variable between -2 and 2 and change the pitch sound of the sword. So if I play, you can see it sounds a bit different every time. If we were to make it something ridiculous like 7, it might sound a bit more obvious. There we go. So I'm just going to put this back to 2 as I'm happy with that. And there's a lot of things you can do in here. So if we go to sources, we can change the attenuation, which is basically how the sound is from further away. So if, say, a character is attacking something far away from the camera, it would be quieter than if it was right in our face. But for now, we don't need to worry about this, right? So now go back to your attack animation montage, to your play sound, and we're just going to get this meta sound. So MS, and there's sword swing, right? Happy days. So do the rest of the montages with this same sword swing sound effect. Okay, now that that's all done, let's test it out. So there we go, you can see. So just, you can see it's a bit delayed on this one. So if you want to adjust it, just go back into your montage over here and just move this to where you think it should move. So maybe there. So just click and drag and save it, and we can test again. So this requires a lot of fine tuning to get your sounds sounding as good as they should. Okay.